All right, we're back for season 2.
Honestly, oh my God, I feel like if I read one more story about Hermione's milky white skin, I am going to lose it. Jeez, even J.K. Rowling doesn't go on and on like this. Oh, okay. You know what? You know what? Oh my God, I think I'm gonna write my own. I'm gonna do it myself. I'm gonna write my own Hermione.
Which, please? Hermione Granger in the Quarter-Life Crisis is about me, Hermione.
Wake up, Sunshiny. Time to get that blood pumping.
Hermione Granger in the Quarter-Life Crisis is a show about Hermione pressing pause on what seems like a perfect life and having the courage to walk away and really ask herself what it is that she wants. And right now, that is crashing on her old roommate Parvati Patil's couch in Los Angeles. And along the way, she sees a lot of old faces and makes some new friends.
I actually started to read the Harry Potter books literally at the same time as I started my very first film class. So I had already connected to Hermione just because I grew up as the girl who loved books. I grew up as the girl who was always in the library. That was just the way that I worked, you know, and everybody knew that about me. And so in a lot of ways, I felt like her, you know, going to this school of magic. I was coming from the south side of Chicago and then suddenly learning about like film movie making. And so kind of the same where she took solace in getting a bunch of books and reading them before she started the classes. I did the same thing. I would live at Barnes & Noble in the film section, just like trying to get as much information as I could outside of class so that I could feel more confident in the space and I could feel more like I belonged there. And so being a part of her journey and her journey through magic and her journey learning about like that side of herself, I think connected me to her even more. And so of course now all these years later, an unknown amount of years, but you know, this many years later, and I'm still this filmmaker, and I think and so that's just a connection that I have to her that I'll always have because I went through that with her. I went through the same thing that she did.
I don't crumble and I don't want to plan anymore. I just want to be.
Be who?
Me!
Well, you're not acting like you right now. You come unannounced with nowhere to stay and no plan. Remember?
I remember. I've had my entire life planned since before I went to Hogwarts. My whole life. And with all these plans, lately I'm not sure of anything anymore, and I just feel like I've missed so much.
I created this show because really two reasons. I adore fan fiction. I started to see Ray Spent Hermione on Tumblr, and it just altered my relationship with the work. I hadn't realized up until that point how much I needed to see that. And so as I was reading the fan fictions, and she's explicitly white in fan fiction, which felt very alienating, and I needed to see that. And also at the time when I had that thought, I was going through a quarter-life crisis of my own. And so I was at Sundance Film Festival. I kind of just had, you know, this like massive sort of like emotional breakdown while I was reading this Hermione Granger fan fiction. And then just one day on the bus, it just all sort of came together that what would Hermione do? Because I was Hermione and I was like at this low point. And then I just thought, what would she do if she had gotten to a place where she felt so lost in the choices that she had made?
I know people, and I can go someplace where it's warm and welcoming.
or you can't stay here.
It's really fun and enlightening and insightful to see somebody swing and miss, but keep swinging, you know? Oh, come on! What the hell, PARVATI?
Ooh, not dead.
It's really important for Parvati to have her story told for the obvious reason of she's the only Indian representation in Harry Potter. And I would have loved if she had had a bigger storyline in the books, and Indian girls deserve to have a hero.
Parvati's in this show because she's brown and she's fabulous.
Like you. Look at me.
By increasing visibility, our show creates another tiny hole toward the breakthrough of an equal and just society.
I honestly just wanted to see us do cool things on screen. We have Hermione's family, which we don't get to see, and we even have a professional Quidditch player who we've never met before.
Every morning I wake up, 5 a.m., I do 10,000 push-ups, then I handcraft 10,000 noodles, and I take a luxurious noodle bath.
Eliana created this role, Taejun, for me.
The thought of a noodle bath seriously grosses me out.
Well, bubbles are for bitches.
I felt like people like me who don't see ourselves reflected in the work. I wanted to make sure that there was a character who very explicitly came from our culture. And then on the flip side of that, I wanted to make sure that the Potter heads who don't know people like me were able to see past the stereotyping, so they could go from judging a person named LAQUITA to really loving and seeing themselves in someone with that kind of a name. And I felt like that was a very important choice.
It's got a little tense in here. Where's that flask?
I would describe her as really vibrant and outgoing.
Girls are gonna get your Granger!
I feel like so often when we see women of color represented on TV, they have to be these extraordinary figures who do these extraordinary things, but it was a coming of age story about young girls trying to figure out themselves, not in reference to who they are next to straight white men, but them as themselves.
It's on the table, yeah.
My first real concrete experience on a set. I have taken for granted to a certain extent being a part of a show that has such a diverse cast of women that are coming of age. Having such diversity is my world. This has always been my perspective and my view of the world.
What's important about the show is the representation, but what makes that especially interesting is seeing these characters that we've all grown up with one way or another going through growing pains that we didn't get to see them do. We're not all out there waging wars and fighting evil wizards, but we're trying to find our way in the world. We're making mistakes, and those are all the things that contribute to a quarter-life crisis.
As a filmmaker, as a storyteller, just doing what I'm doing, it's really, really, really important to have a team that not only believes in my vision, but just really supports that vision and works cohesively to bring that vision to life.
BNMG at Video Village at the Monitor. You can so we gotta, oh.
When I met Eliana at a fan convention, I was just so excited to be able to talk with someone about the intersectionality of race and fandom, and then to be able to collaborate on this wonderful story about marginalized people living in a magical world.
You're Luna. I'm like a Luna Parvati.
I'm Harry Potter.
I'm Lou Varda.
Eliana and I have been creative partners for a while now, going all the way back to Chicago, and it works so well because I trust that she's going to direct a masterpiece, and she trusts that I'm going to make it happen, and we always do. And I originally started working with her because she's so passionate, and that passion has now turned me into not only a Harry Potter fan, but more importantly, a producer who is determined to put women of color in the forefront of their own stories. And I think that's proof that she is a tangible example of someone who writes their own ending.
Action.
Doing a self-portrait?
Juniper. I have been working with different directors, and Eliana is one of the most amazing directors I have ever met. She always knows what she wants, but at the same time, she's waiting to hear my voice.
Your LA adventure is over. Time for you to apparate back into the black hole of doom you crawled out of.
It's time for season 2.
I'm so proud of season 1. It was such an accomplishment. And going into season 2, I'm so excited because I know that my voice is going to be the loudest in the room.
So what do we need all this money for? We need it for things like sound.
Visual effects. This is where I would put a visual effect, but I have no money right now, so you gotta pay for it.
Cameras.
Lights.
Wardrobe.
And paying a hard-working crew.
You should donate to this Indiegogo because it is a crazy town we live in, Los Angeles, and it is really a town run by straight white men. And I know everybody's probably sick of hearing this, especially this past year, but the industry is changing, but it's very slow. And there are people, amazing women and people of color, who deserve to have their stories told. And it's just not happening fast enough. Like, the money isn't there for these amazing people and storytellers, like at the studio level. So Indiegogo is a great way to give these people a chance to tell their story, and it means the world to creators when they can see that there's people out there, sometimes people they've never even met, who believe in them and want to hear their stories.
Yeah, please support this campaign. Send in every sickle you've got, every canut, every galleon, all of...
Hey, we can't accept sickles. Dollars only, please.
Right, send in some dollars, please.
Please support us.
Thank you in advance.
You will be so happy that you did.
I'm not getting paid for this.